It was for high GC News. Mima Obibia Akwaba. Ahade latest and hot news. Nkwa Aremeyaw Bramo. Anuti so nya subscribe to channel idea. Bomodia say obe subscribe. The way I say obe click the subscribe button. Now wabeli notification. We understand video for be upload no when the first person once ebeka ASR video. Afi we are now like video no give us a thumbs up na afi share ma wo foforo so na when you be here na wo hu ensemo ekoso ewo Ghana memoa. Afi tetema ye hwe ye ensemo abeto ye no so. NPP one lady member bako aye friend Musa Superior and ye papa ye wo de ensemo to pa. NPP nkugu a woni die ye 2024 aye ngwase ama wono. Otchere nema bebre ede sa nkugu we nyina eba ye ebini Akufo Addo so ba Akufo Addo danedi a watcher Akufo Addo baby kura no watati ahemfo se wan sori kura na wan nchia no eno so eka ho bi enema amanfo bufu ye na yebetu etia o otchere se eye kenu frata ye nim eye kenu frata edu baby kura na ne modebo no enso ani na eye MPC ni bi kura ka se we ya Akufo Addo nyini fro fa ni pafoforo Akufo Addo tintintirinti otwen ya last minute kura ansana obeyi eye kenu frata eno so eka ho bi na 11 eno so bae eno so de oha beto Ghana for so eno so ka ho bi enema ye MPP for no wanedi enkugu eye papa ebrobro ensembebre so na ba kokro de tu dwan se eye Akufo Addo mano ye hwe contract eye sa ambulance hun sensemi o se NAPO for ye tu awaneka na chese mo sign eye check sika almost about $40 million say fontua yes ambulance aga ya Akufo Addo ma ho bon wo nyina ka ho bi ene ma ye party no edi eye ncho edi nkugu na papa yi abrobro ensem dodo na ara so ententema yenko na kachi na yenkotie ye Musa Superior eti ensema ya papa yi edi etudwa.
The reason why Lucy is because we're not fair to our party people and treat you very well. Now, in some cases, he even said, which is the biggest joke in the world, also a spiritual. Yeah. The General Secretary has said that. I think that is an indictment on the position for him to speak the way he spoke. Say, hey, spiritual. A day to the election, can you believe that all running campaign to seek the mandate of the Ghanaian people? And a day to the election, work of increasing fuel prices. I have never seen this kind of strategy before. Very failed strategy. Government who run election, a day to election, work of increasing fuel prices. I think it was uncalled for. Okay. Higher. If you look at the non-payment of NAPO recruits, steppings, youth in afforestation, national service personnel, teacher and nursing trainee, students, all these arrears are on for several months now. It happened because these people were talking. Now, how much did you need to pay them? And the finance minister didn't pay them. But this same finance minister is able to dish out about nearly $40 million and pay a company which is linked to Edwina and John Nkrumah. You remember Service Auto Ghana Limited? Yeah. Ambulance issues. Yes. Yes, we are told. 5 days before Ofori Atta left office, he had approved payment of nearly 39 million. A little over $39 million to the company. How can a government agency increase prices of goods and our services 3 months to elections? War control. Whatever be the case, this thing shouldn't have happened because of the election. So I issued a statement and demanded for the reversal. I called on the government, demanding for the reversal of SAR policy. No, it didn't help us. There's so many things. Who called Gabby to order? When Gabby made, and everybody knows how powerful Gabby is in the last NPP government, the cousin of the president, some periodically referred to as Ghana's prime minister, a very powerful person in this government, and nobody could venture point accusing fingers at him. Or move demanding for reshuffle. Ghanaians calling for reshuffles are across board. I'll call Facebook to write, say, oh, it is as if a reshuffle is going to end the Ukraine war and now to bring to make the city stronger and so on and so forth. So the next day, me could read this and I say, wow, this person wrote this. So I replied on my Facebook wall, and it's there, you can verify that. And I said that comment, I'll make a very insensitive comment. We have election to win, and therefore comments of this nature, no, so one jai. Okay. It takes a a brave person, courageous. Then now I was deputy CEO of the Forestry Commission.
Yes.
And I got calls around the country and some calls coming from abroad. Say, Musa, I say, look, I am happy. Say, President will say that, look, Musa, leave the job because I have taken his cousin on because of your party.
Yeah.
Because now there were elections to win. And proximity to the president, and who you are in the party, it will become very, very terrible. Absolutely. To be speaking the way I kind. There's evidence that the people are intimidating people not to talk. So, for example, the General Secretary would say that there are some people on Nimomo, so can't say on Norma we lose election. No, he will take them on. I'm telling you, you are a very shambolic General Secretary.
No.
Very, very shambolic General Secretary.
That's too harsh.
No, it's not. Go and look for the word shambolic. Shambolic is somebody who didn't perform well. No stress.
Anyone would say, when it's opposition for 3 weeks, how does it feel? So,
opposition, and yet even half a day, in fact, a quarter of a day in opposition, and yet. So, Sisiano, yeah, planning and thinking. Bojuma, so that we can come back to government, because the NPP government, no, say in terms of managing the country economically and socially, no, we have always done better than the NDC. So it doesn't look good. Say we are in opposition. I think that I say, hurry up, put the party in shape, and return to government and do what we have always done best for our country. So this is for now. This is what I have to say about opposition.
Okay, there are people suggesting more better opposition power because of the numbers and what they call a electoral defeat. You know, how long and how fast and quick do you think the party will come to power?
Almost suggestion no, fairly no. Me say maybe you are right, because in the history of this country, it's a defeat we yanya bida. A parliament move called parliamentary election. And at the end of the parliamentary election, the leader of politics in Ghana, and one of the most important political parties in Africa, out of 276 parliamentary contests in the local constituencies, now 88 seats. It means that the opposition a blank check.
Yeah.
So by that wisdom, opposition without any serious opposition scrutiny.
Yeah.
In the governance system. So I'm sure says those kinds of people know that is the way of thinking thinking. But that's not the case. Yet to me, boy at home and work hard and fix the party and get the correct and very brave and courageous leadership. I'm sure say 2028 you be bounce back.
Okay. Before so be bounce back, no, you have to know what led to your defeat in the first place. Mahuse Masete committee aura Michael Kweda no ne other members some person mo probe the real reasons. But to you, as a leading member of the party, even before the probe invites you, no, what do you think caused a catastrophic defeat?
First of all, say about 4 weeks ago, National Chairman announced say January or Beseti committee.
Right.
Now National Council Beseti committee to investigate a defeat. No. In fact, how can we not a press conference at our party headquarters? Me throw a very short piece and shared it on social media, any other portal. Say our committee no, and you're necessary because Moko investigated what we already know. Now, Obia, every serious NPP member, NPP officer, NPP volunteer, any NPP worker, why we lost this election terribly. Now, Ukwako Seti committee to investigate what we already know. Now, for me, a waste of resources.
You and who?
Obia,
NPP
the General Secretary. For example, the General Secretary has been saying, the reason why Lucy is because we're not fair to our party people and treat you very well. Now, in some cases, he even said, which is the biggest joke in the world, also a spiritual. Yeah. The General Secretary has said that. I think that is an indictment on the position for him to speak the way he spoke. Say, hey, spiritual. enumerating reasons are Lucy, including lack of support for your party people. Some of the party people did not work very hard, especially the leadership of their party in the various government institutions, chief executives, any MDs and co. On campaign and my party, and then you turn around to say, we have lost spiritually. What is spiritual about this? There is absolutely no evidence to suggest what the General Secretary.
So you don't believe in spirituality?
It's false. In fact, it is the biggest cover-up for a General Secretary to speak the way he spoke. I think that it is unfortunate.
Okay.
And I think the party people deserve an apology.
Okay.
Because only why we lost. There are two reasons why we lost. Number one reason.
Two reasons.
Just two reasons. Number one, the failure of the absolute failure of the current national officers of the party.
Okay.
They failed. In fact, performance in their mandate is the most shambolic, very abysmal performance. Now, so that is number one. Now,
all of them.
All of them, from the national chairman right down to anybody.
Okay.
Now, maybe in the course of the conversation, remember details why I think they have failed.
No.
And the other one is the way and manner the former president conducted himself in government.
You mean
Nanado? So the details of that,
the former president of Bibrio, Nanado now.
No, the immediate past former president, Nanado Akufo Addo. I don't think he conducted himself very well, and therefore an affected partner. So these are the two reasons. But under the two reasons, there are other issues might discuss it if there is time would permit us.
I would want us to run through the itemized and
okay, so about Akufo Addo first.
Okay.
Number one, who say now he was very Brunisi impervious. Impervious say the concerns of Ghanaians. Say Ghanaians kasa. He has got to listen because some mandate you secured it from Ghanaians.
Yeah.
Ghanaians never vote you. In fact, you got your job as president because Ghanaian people hired you.
Okay.
And therefore, if the citizens or more kasa, say wunchi. So number one, cabinet reshuffle. A very, very important measure would the assess you government.
Okay.
Now running government for several months, up to close to about 2-3 years. Now I'm for calling for cabinet reshuffle because at that time now the government was actually struggling.
Okay.
And then so own make it reshuffle, just ignore the calls. But you can't say anybody calling for cabinet reshuffle is looking for a job. I think disparaging remarks, it offended a lot of Ghanaians.
Okay.
Over 90 NPP members of parliament. In 2022, I think in the middle of 2022, almost started a conversation around the fact that the economy now the leader, the finance minister, should step aside so that they can get a more capable, a more competent finance minister to take over. Omo pursue the president, follow the president. The president more chance. It was until later, about 6 months later, Omo hold the press conference, and then the president invited them to say, they are more kana mate, but yeah, we are in the IMF program. And I say IMF program no go it through. I would remove the finance minister. The first tranche of the money I received from IMF, I think it was in May 19th, thereabout, around the first month, which was about $600 million we received. It means that effectively by May or by the beginning of May, the IMF program has come to an end.
Okay.
So it was incumbent on the president to have fulfilled his promise to the members of parliament, say, IMF program has come to an end. So, Mr. Finance Minister, find your way. They pursued, and the call was all over the country, including senior members of the NPP who spoke publicly and privately. In fact, I will give my General Secretary a plus here because he was publicly heard also calling for the removal of the finance minister. But Akufo Addo did not care. He did not respect the views of the Ghanaian people, especially the NPP people who supported him to get the job he did.
Okay.
So he didn't do it. It was just around February 2024 thereabouts. some 10 to 11 months to election.
Yeah.
And then he did some reshuffle and removed him. Now, all removing, I mean, the insult. What infuriated Ghanaians more was that one pound the crowd. Omano, a very huge appointment as a senior presidential advisor on finance. And then he was also the envoy to the international investment and capital markets. Actually, say,
what promoted?
Our finance minister, he said he was a local or domestic finance minister. Because Juma abroad, no, sir, Juma, no, you have given it to your cousin again. I think that it was also not right.
Okay.
It was a sign of disrespect for other business. Now, your traditional authorities, this one there, you should know how Akufo Addo effectively requested that your traditional authorities should stand up and greet him. Obia free traditional area. Obia. You are Ghanaians, but we come from different traditional area. We respect our chiefs. Now, for a president to come to my community and tell my chief or city in state to stand up and greet him, that president will never get my vote. It doesn't matter whether you're NPP president or NDC president. The president will. It's a disrespect for our traditional authority.
Okay.
Now, the governance is hinged on tradition, because the traditional authorities sometimes very, very difficult for your government officials, especially at the local level, to deliver. Now, if you disrespect and undermine your traditional authorities the way Akufo Addo did, it became a problem.
Did anybody speak up publicly, including yourself? Because this was repeatedly done.
A number of people spoke up. On this particular matter, I didn't speak out publicly, but a number of people spoke out publicly. It was on radio, people were talking. And you see,
people in NPP.
Yes, a lot of NPP people spoke.
Okay.
And you see, it is not even NPP. You have to respect the Ghanaian voice.
Yeah.
You are not an NPP president. You are the president of the Republic of Ghana.
Right.
Now, every Ghanaian citizen or your subject. Now say, they are not happy and they are speaking. You've got to listen to me, Bwana.
Right.
So people spoke. So now an issue. The other thing I found quite bad.
Okay.
Affecting the process was the traveling of this special presidential chair. I think that it was totally needless. He should not do that. Now, sometimes you have to humble yourself as a leader, and then you can galvanize the energies of it was bad. It was terrible. Very, very terrible. Now, I had spoken to 2 senior members of the party, and then they told me that they will speak to him. They didn't speak to him, or they had spoken to him now because he kept carrying the chair. What was the need for that?
Maybe spiritual.
No, there shouldn't be any spirituality around that. The people like you. That is why they gave you the mandate. Nobody's going to do anything to you. Now, spirituality will only. In fact, that I don't even believe in that thing. For some reason, it is not right. Now, why didn't he bring the chair on the day of the inauguration of John Mahama?
So we're free power.
So it means there's nothing spiritual about it, because you are looking, you were thinking, say, a different chair, so something will happen to you. So it was a big issue of this chair matter. Then the e-levy. E-levy. Obia NPP supporters all over the country said no. The vice president of the Republic of Ghana on Peace FM or say implementing program now ebe Ghanaian citizens are almost poor, but they went ahead and implemented e-levy. A day to the election, can you believe that all running campaign to seek the mandate of the Ghanaian people? Then a day to the election work of increasing fuel prices. I have never seen this kind of strategy before. Very failed strategy. Government who run election, a day to election work of increasing fuel prices. I think it was uncalled for.
Okay.
Higher. 3 months to the election in October, the PURC almost increasing tariffs on water and electricity.
Together.
What kind of governance is that? Our government, you are seeking the mandate of the people, and then few months to the election, muko koye nemabia mbwa mu campaign no. So all these things were issues that decisions our government no take here affect here. If you look at the non-payment of NAPO recruits, steppings, youth in afforestation, national service personnel, teacher and nursing trainee, students, all these arrears are on for several months now. It happened because these people were talking. Now, how much did you need to pay them? And the finance minister didn't pay them. But this same finance minister is able to dish out about nearly $40 million and pay a company which is linked to Edwina and John Krumah. You remember Service Auto Ghana Limited, ambulance issues.
Yes.
Yes, we are told 5 days before Ofori Atta left office, he had approved payment of nearly 39 million, a little over $39 million to the company. When other Ghanaian citizens are Bojuma country, no, they've been working for several months. I think NAPO was about 8 to 9 months, and then they were not paid. So all these things and then it became a problem. And then his body language and his mannerism was very, very poor too. You know, when chiefs come to you to talk to you about area of development, you don't tell them that, because you haven't voted my person, and on the basis in my area, you are a leader. You don't speak like that. So So this way, apart from that, I mean, in terms of policy issues, in terms of governance issues, in terms of the way you manage social issues, no, I think that we did well as a
but the economy was
government.
the main.
But the economy became a problem.
Okay.
And sa nka oyi Ofori Atta longer and brought me a much more competent person nka economy. You remember the last few days of Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam. Things started working well, and he got the praises from civil society organizations in the country and even the boss of the IMF. And that is what we expect. Says nka Akufo Addo Ofori Atta 2 years ago before the elections. I think that even if we are going to lose election, can lose it the way Lucy. So that is the issue of the government.
What can say about Akufo Addo? But one but the candidate that went into the elections, because one of the key issues among for the two about was dollar, because it affected businesses and trade, and the person who spearheaded $1, 1 CD, $4, 4 CDs, $1, then dollar to 17, almost 18. Was the economic management team headed by the vice president who went into the election as a candidate, because all the BB saw Akufo Addo.
No, nobody can defend that. There is a Akufo Addo government led by him. They run a cabinet government in this country.
Right.
And the leader of cabinet is Akufo Addo. He run a presidential governance in this country. The constitution, the president, the mandate to do.
Right.
So if who bring his suggestion and the president doesn't want the suggestion to work, suggestion one typical example Dr. Bawumia Campaign Peace FM for any Ghanaians say e-levy poor people.
Yes.
Now weeks later there was e-levy. You think Dr. Bawumia was going to be happy with that? He's not going to be happy.
Do you think he was sidelined?
He was absolutely sidelined. He was sidelined. Everybody knew he was. He's the only person who would deny that he wasn't sidelined, because I know his nature.
So why will he lie?
No, he would just deny that he wasn't sidelined, because his nature is that he doesn't really offend people. So he will say he's not sidelined. But I know, and everybody know in this country that he was sidelined, because the economy was virtually run by the finance minister and the president and some few non-government officials around the president. Now running economy. So exchange rates difficult, Who say no NPP person can defend it.
Yeah.
Now who defend this it means that you need God to lead in the communication to defend it.
Yeah.
It was horrible. We didn't do well in that area. And the reason why we didn't do well in that area is because the Dr. Bawumia was not listened to. Amount for BBC economic management team. Economic management is an advisory body.
Okay.
And I tell you, today the vice president of the Republic of Ghana today say by convention, or he will be the chairperson of the economic management team.
Right.
And then she will understand that as our body, as just an advisory. In fact, the non-existent of the economic management team, it is not unconstitutional not to have it. Okay. So our economic management team is just an advisory body for the president. Now, the advice no bar. It's up to the president to either take the advice or not take it.
You are a leading member. You are still a leading member of the party. There are calls say, I say, you people have suddenly become outspoken because na musru se mo bekasa under the president. Nti ente se mo kan about enema we nyina wo kan nei. You were still defending, not you, but the party kept on defending all these things that happen here.
No.
Why have you become outspoken?
In my case,
okay.
A couple of times. Okay. So I give an example. On the 22nd of July.
Yeah.
Now this is verifiable. Who call me Facebook. It's a very popular Facebook account.
Yeah.
Me issue statement calling on the president to pay NAPO people, youth in afforestation,
right,
school caterers, and so on and so forth. I issued a statement.
Right.
It will take a very courageous government appointee to issue such a statement.
Okay.
So I issued it.
That is one.
Then, when the PRC almost increase prices, no. You remember almost increase prices, no, in October.
Yes.
Me issue another statement, and I'm sure my boys can pull up the statement on my Facebook wall. And I even described that stupid. And a lot of people were angry with me, but probably the context of the way no montias here. I said stupid because how can a government agency increase prices of goods and our services 3 months to elections? War control. Whatever be the case, this thing shouldn't have happened because the election. So I issued a statement and demanded for the reversal. I called on the government, demanding for the reversal of SAR policy. No, it didn't help us. Then in October, I think October 2023, before presidential elections, we make another appeal to the yet to be elected presidential candidate to pay these people, these NAPCO people and things like that. There's so many things. Who called Gabby to order? When Gabby made, and everybody knows how powerful Gabby is in the last NPP government, the cousin of the president, some periodically referred to as Ghana's prime minister, very powerful person in this government, and nobody could venture point accusing fingers at him. Move demanding for reshuffle, Ghanaians calling for reshuffles across board. I'll call Facebook to write, say, it is as if a reshuffle is going to end the Ukraine war and now to bring to make the city stronger and so on and so forth. So the next day, me could read this and I say, wow, this person wrote this. So I replied on my Facebook wall, and it's there, you can verify that. And I said that comment I'll make a very insensitive comment. We have election to win, and therefore comments of this nature, it takes a brave person, courageous. Then now I was deputy CEO of the Forestry Commission.
Yes.
And I got calls around the country, and some calls coming from abroad. Say, Musa, I say, look, I am happy. Say, president will say that, look, Musa, leave the job because I have taken his cousin on because of your party, because now there were elections to win, and proximity to the president, and who you are in the party, it will become very, very terrible. Absolutely. To be speaking the way I kind. So I whatever came to my mind, official of government, I spoke it out in Tamale when I was Tamale mayor. There are a lot of things that I would get information from the top not to do, but because I believe it was right, I went ahead and did it. They were cleaning up the street. How do people come on, sit in the middle of the street and sell goods? Now you tell them, no, this is not where. This is not where. Get off from the place and allow peaceful vehicular movement. Report me, I'm a chief of staff. I got calls from senior
palm traders from the street.
Palm traders, and then there was a report, and then senior government officials will contact me and say, Musa, and I said, no, The president has, if he's not happy with the way I'm running the metropolis, he can ask me to stand down. But I believe is right. It is not right for people to be selling in the middle of the street. Na street nama, one of the major rules in Tamale, na so narrow that there was a struggle between vehicles, any traders, any pedestrians. So when you so it is not true that every government official kept quiet. At the time all these things were happening. Some of us spoke out.
But do you think, sir, more party more allow for dissent? As will be sema mampenyi empire. Now more cutting off and now more reducing influence and now more person we
So you see, there is evidence that there is culture of silence in the party and people are not very happy with it. So Nipa be car and then people would employ people to
NPP, no?
Yes.
A culture of silence.
A party initiated liberal democracy in this country. Now say kasa and people don't want you to talk. But transparency is important. Now kasa party no. Because that is the basis for democracy and free speech. Now, provided ukasano and attacking anybody's person, you can't come and say, oh, be this, no, this, or this. No.
Yeah.
Speak to the issues like we're doing right now and allow the process not to encourage SAR at the end. So there's evidence that the people are intimidating people not to talk. So, for example, the General Secretary would say, that there are some people on Nimomo, so Mbeka say on Norma we lose election, he will take them on. I'm telling you, you are a very shambolic General Secretary.
No.
Very, very shambolic General
but
Secretary.
That's too harsh.
No, it's not. Go and look for the word shambolic. Shambolic is somebody who didn't perform well.
No, so as a person or in his
General Secretary, that's why I didn't mention the name.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's a title holder of my party, and I have the right. The General Secretary, shambolic General Secretary, abysmal performance. In fact, this performance had the worst performance in the history of the NPP, and therefore, for anybody to hold himself, say, oh, this election, no, dear, especially the leadership of the party, is the biggest joke. It's the biggest joke. So Sahadiano Omunjai na Kasano should go on. People should be allowed to make comments. They feel that has affected this party.
Okay.
All comments made about me, I'm very happy. There are negative comments being made about Musa Superior. I'm very, very happy because it encourages participation so that everybody will feel part of the system and the process to address the party.
Okay.
But I'll put it on record that the leadership of your party, the national executives of your party,
right,
any business to suggest elsewhere, say, Obina Ekosi, the defeat of this party. They have done this party a very weak party from onset. As national officers, any evidence across the country to suggest that they were not there in the north, they were not there in the eastern region, Ashanti region, they were not there anywhere. Now, me pese omu challenging by publishing an activity plan. Omu use here to manage the party in the last few years. I choose omu at the Accra Sports Stadium. None. The party is weak, no resources. Your communicators omu need resources. In fact, very simple telephones, smartphones for our communicators around the country to use to do omu research. Omu nibi. There's no internet. Who call a party officer? There's no. It's a mess, total mess. Organization, it was totally poor. Very, very. The bridge between the party and government totally broke down, and therefore, party for constituency executives in particular, now most of them now nijuma.
Okay.
How do you run a party in government? Constituency executives nijuma. How many are they? How many constituencies are there? 276 constituencies.
They were unemployed.
Most of them were unemployed. Most of them don't need any source of income. And then you are running a political party. And then your party is in government. The only reason why we have a political party is to win elections. Now I say we need election. There should be a system by the party to ensure, not the government. For government, they are all for the whole country. But the party should have a program to ensure that there is what we call an empowerment plan for your party people. I don't accept this idea that we need election. Everybody should for himself, God for us all. That's wrong. Because in the time of the campaign, now you're working collectively together. So after election, the party headquarters, spearheaded by the General Secretary and other officers of the party, said they should have what we call a support plan in place.
Okay.
So that we are developing a business development unit at the party headquarters. And our business development unit, it's a party for especially party officers around the country so that they can access opportunities in government.
Well, you have attributed majorly the defeat in Odiama General Secretary na Oboni Dimo, but people have also questioned the national chairman.
Me say
the executives,
the executives
who single out the general
secretary? All of them. All of them. I am only challenging General Secretary because number one, we lost because of there was a spiritual reason why we lost, and I think it's the biggest joke, and that should not be spoken because you are disrespecting the party people.
Okay.
And then you also said, anybody who speaks about you, and that unim amount for now omoka about you that you were part of reasons why we lost now. You don't speak like that. General Secretary should not be threatening people. You are the General Secretary. We gave you the mandate. Now say you are not even happy. You've got to calm down,
right,
and sober yourself, and then respond with humility. Can say if people should say that if you don't want to be criticized, you just resign. So if you don't want criticism, because the democracy, part of the correcting your mistakes is for people to criticize you.
Okay.
Now, warning ahead says, amount for criticize you would say things they don't like.
Do you think
that's poor leadership?
Yeah, they have to resign because some of them will go for a re-election.
I think that they should even have an IMC. The National Council should tell them to stand down so that
all of them,
because we see a interim management committee.
So all the executives should resign.
That is my view. It's my personal view, Musa Superior's view. It is not your view. It is not Chris's view.
Today, and I say immediately after the election,
they should resign because you started a process called the rebuilding and restructuring process to recapture power.
Okay.
Now, how can such an incompetent team almost lead you to the worst defeat in the history of the NPP supervise our process? No? It is contradiction. These people have led us to the worst defeat.
Yeah.
Then we have elections in 2028. Then you say, start rebuilding of this partner. These people who have no idea of SOP, who have no idea of strategy, organizational acumen, and precision to supervise a party. So I am calling, and people think that it's a very huge thing to do, but it's huge. They should have personally stood down. Say now, but National Council should persuade them to stand down.
Force them to stand down.
No, they should persuade them to stand down so that
if persuasion fails,
the difficulty is that I'm not sure the National Council can force them to stand down, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But they can be persuaded, and I'm here persuading them. Make it direct appeal to them. One of them publicly made a statement, and I respect the person, Nana B.
Okay.
Say waka, say on the Kubio. And the reason Nana B, I believe, issues that statement to say on Kubio is because he has heard around the country the kind of view people have for our current executive.
Okay.
So it is proper, say, almost standing down so that we form an interim management committee to oversee this process, especially that National Council has put in place a committee to investigate election defeat across the country.
Within the NPP there, you have things that you say, you have identified some of the problems. People outside also believe, we say, these national executives, you former mayor of Tamale, you former deputy CEO of a whole institution like the Forestry Commission, despite say economy weak, Ghana for so far, you people have made a lot of money. And Tina, you don't even care.
I can only speak for myself. I have not made any money.
You have not made money?
No. I was a deputy CEO.
Of Forestry Commission?
No, I was a deputy CEO. My CEO, no, he didn't care about the party.
Who?
He's called John Aluti. He's never been a member of this party. He's on Nyejuma Mapa. Even as election Ayokoye 2024, this guy was sitting in the office. Not even one single constituency Okoye. So maybe when you have to call him and ask him how much he made. But Musa
he doesn't work for the party.
He doesn't work. He's never worked for the party.
He's the CEO.
He's never worked for. In fact, I don't think Oya NPP sympathizer. I don't even think so.
So how did he get there?
I cannot tell.
Okay, he's a Ghanaian.
He's a Ghanaian. No, but this. Look at Mahama. Politics is politics. When people fight for you, put them in good places so that they can continue to fight for their party.
Is that what Mahama did?
Look at Mahama.
Are you impressed?
They're only neutral. Yes, I am impressed because he's putting his party people, and I'm happy with that.
Oh.
Yes, every political party in government must put their people to safeguard what they believe in. Now, how can you go and make Musa Superior a minister or a CEO in an NDC government? It doesn't work. In fact, it is false. So I'm happy. I'm impressed. So far, the only non-political appointment Mahama and it's because it's non-political. It's the Constitutional Review Committee.
Professor H. Kosi Prempeh.
Yes. Why didn't he make H. Kosi Prempeh the Attorney General? Because we all know H. Kosi Prempeh, the kind of work he can do for a country if he becomes an Attorney General. Because he doesn't align to Omo Party's vision.
Okay.
So it is incumbent on the next NPP president to make sure that strategic institutions are able to buy a party. There should be NPP people. There should be NPP people. And I don't regret for saying this. And it's important, say, appointments by president. I mean, if you are a party leader who call cabinet now who kasana president no person chair, and then you just keep quiet. It means that party leader. Party leaders should speak to the president and tell him that, Mr. President, I may can't because of the partners. I have no option than to go to the party so that we will withdraw our support from you.
Do you also support MPP for any big calls to say win election all of a sudden nipa be brief brochi abegigi key position?
It is true, and those people know, unfortunately, no members of your branches where they come from. So, for example, if you came from a UK or UK branch, America or America branch, Canada or Canada branch, pass it through the back door. Came to the country, saw very powerful people around the president, and then they got all these juicy jobs. If you go to the UK, weather conditions in the UK are easy. Nightly meetings. I was a member of the UK branch, so meaning what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And then at the end of the day, you win election. Lo and behold, they remain a group which has been unconsulted for a period of 4 years.
But
now, amount for free UK for appointments and no consultation have been made. I think that should stop, and the party should insist. The next leadership of your party, they should insist, and that should be made clear to whoever becomes the presidential candidate. The party will not tolerate that. This party is bigger than everybody. We are bigger than Musa Superior. We are bigger than the presidential candidate. We are bigger than the president, because our president NPP we need power.
Okay.
So they have to respect the party.
Okay.
Now, all respective party party so that the party will have a life. And going forward, we can win more elections. Now, if you are running a government and the way I will run a government, actions I will take or decisions that you take a party for and demotivate our party people, it's most likely that the next election we lose.
Okay. And
therefore, the party leadership, especially the National Steering Committee, should always insist that the right thing is done.
Okay. Mamimbusa say, apart from the executives also resign any other issues, what will be the key, one or two key reforms in rebuilding NPP?
One is abolishes our polling station delegate system. And boy a partner.
Delegate,
young abolish it. And making sure say obia our membership card.
Okay.
Otchere reduce. Uncle vote.
more be enlarge.
Yes, you're making sure says polling station delegate system. No, and it is not democratic and yet inclusive.
Okay.
How do you have a polling station people of say 100 or 200 people and only 5 people are on taking decision on behalf of these 200 people? And sometimes our decision no and yet a consulted decision. They just go there and then they take those decisions.
Okay.
And then we say because we have very few no encourage bribery and corruption. Anytime I go to a bar, you see that they are easily bribed. But if there are a lot of them, if you have 200 members of the party at a particular station are almost to a bar, it will be difficult for anybody to come and give 200 members no TV and fridges and 1,000 Ghana cedis because you have a long way to go.
Okay.
If you have over 500 polling stations in a constituency and every polling station or over 100 people are almost to a bar, bribery no ultimate.
Okay.
You may want to do it, but it will be difficult for you to do. So that's one reform. The other reform is that the National Council, Young Council, National Council, they should scrap the National Council.
How? Because
the National Council, no, it is prone to manipulation. Prone to manipulation.
Right.
Steering committee, any National Executive Committee. So that National Executive Committee no best supervise National Council.
Okay.
And the National Council, what's the difference between our National Council and a National Executive Committee? Just check the list. You will see that it has become a problem. Now, now Jai steering committee to take the decision. And the membership of the steering committees a very strong membership. The president is there, the chairman of party, all elected members of the party, our leader in parliament, the chairman of the council of elders. Who say in the wisdom of the writers of the constitution, it was clear, say they were looking at the various representation of the party, put together the steering committee. Most of the decisions of your party is taken at National Council. When the steering committee mandate to be the day-to-day operational organ of the party. So I think that the National Council should be scrapped. I also think, say, but elected leadership in parliament. We should allow members of parliament to elect our own leaders. The party shouldn't do that because you are interfering in the work of the caucus. Now, for the caucus to be independent, so the leadership of the caucus to be independent, so that they can speak directly to the president or the leadership of their party and follow up. They should elect themselves. Look at the way Chairman Sabons was thrown out, even though Afenyo Markins seemed to be doing extremely brilliant. But the way Chairman Sabons was thrown out, it was totally wrong. Because you can't just sit down, call somebody and say, look, we want to change you. And
why was he changing?
For no reason. There was no justification for his change. And that's why I'm saying, caucus no elect nobody would have changed him. Asante Markins, look at the way he started doing. And then in future, the National Council, some president says that, look, I don't like Asante, let's get him changed. You should not, no president should be able to do that. And then I'm also talking about the way organizational structure not here. Electoral area, were coordinators. I don't think we should have
you speak to the mic.
Electoral area coordinators electoral area executive. So that every electoral area will have at least 7-member executive. Enhance omujuma and so on and so off. I'm also insisting, say, the chairman of the party should be made the leader of the party. Permanently in the constitution, say and change the constitution and make it chairman of the party, whether in opposition or in government. He should be made the leader of. I think the same view. No, as for the president, say or no, he has got a bigger responsibility to be president, to look after the country. Presidential candidate, you have a short term. They elect you for a period. After that period, that position, presidential candidate, does no longer exist. Whether you have won the elections and you haven't won. If you have won, you become president, and then you have this bigger responsibility of looking after Ghana. If you haven't won, you are no longer a president. So your leader of the party to be the chairman, a lacuna no, address a lot. It gives the chairman additional power.
Yo, waiting for waiting and some year Musa Superior Adituja or NPP lady member or Brobro and Sammy Breso Niama and then Kuku Ebre NPP a year 2024 general election and then a papa Abrobro Swa what they and some do Nara Atuja. Macau say so when you subscribe to channel idea Bomodia say or be subscribe. Now fee while like video no give us a thumbs up. Now fee share my for so now when you be here now who and someone and Koso and Wagana Mema. Also bet me otchere wadwen afa here and some way now I comment box in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.